honor to be here with have the honor to be here with you all for this the opening of the conference in Colombo, organized by CALD with the support of the Frederick Naumann Foundation. The conference is on education, more precisely on choice and excellence in education. So at this opening, Dr. Rajiva Wijesinha will make a welcome address in his capacity as Secretary of the Ministry of Disaster Management and Human Rights. As our host, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank the government of Sri Lanka, the people of Sri Lanka, for their hospitality, for hosting our conference for the next 3 days. And Rajiva is an old friend. He is currently the chair, the new chair of the Council of Asian Liberal and Democrats. So the floor is yours, Rajiva.
Thank you, Mr. Samransi. Mr. Rajiva Wijesinha, Mr. Samransi, Siegfried Herzog, Robert Uttaprom, the President of the Liberal Party, Mrs. Rajiva Wijesinha, the leader of the party, Kamal Nisanka, and all my colleagues from so many liberal parties around Asia. It is an enormous pleasure to be here and to host all of you on behalf of the Liberal Party of Sri Lanka in Colombo, and all of you who are not from CALD, on behalf of CALD as its chair to this conference. I am particularly grateful to Mr. Rajiva Wijesinha for sparing the time in an appallingly busy schedule to come and address us. And there are several reasons for us being very grateful to him. But let me just mention that he is also, in addition to being Secretary to the President, one of the most committed educationists in this country. In fact, I first had the pleasure of meeting him and working together with him 10 years ago when he was Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Education. And if he will not mind this, I just want to tell an anecdote that I think sums him up. I was young and naive in those days. Some people say I still am. And having gone into a ministry and known so much about how terrible our ministries were and very slow, I suddenly found this Additional Secretary who was astonishingly efficient and deeply committed. And I'm afraid I went and told him. He allowed me to call me Lalit. I hope he won't mind that now. I said, Lalit, you don't mind my saying this, but you know, you are a civil servant who's wonderful. How did that happen? And he just looked at me and said, no false modesty. He said, I am not bad. But if you think I am all right, you should see the chap who topped my batch. I only came third. And I've never forgotten that story. Because here was someone who did a superb job, who was aware that he did well, but who was willing to say, there are people much better than me as well. But I think we know that although the person who came first was also a great civil servant, had tremendous capacity, I think the all-round vision, Mr. Wijesinha, that you have brought to all the positions you've occupied has really stood us in good stead. And I also make one little note. We have had 5 presidents so far. I'm afraid we have only had 2 presidential secretaries who were really top-class professionals during that whole period. And I think it's a mark of a great president to ensure that he has a pretty good secretary. So thank you, Lalit, for sparing the time to be with us today. We are very grateful for you to be here. Let me also thank all of you for being here, my colleagues from all over Asia who have done so much for the cause of liberalism in their different ways, in the different countries in which we function. We need to thank our chair, who has an extraordinarily difficult task in a country where the opposition is not sometimes, or they try to debar them from contesting elections. We're pleased that in Sri Lanka we allow elections as often as possible, and we make sure that people are not disbarred from election by various means, as happens in a couple of countries amongst us. I'm grateful to Siegfried Herzog, who is the head of the FNS in Manila, and therefore liaises with CALD. He will no longer be liaising with CALD, but I'm afraid their loss is our gain, and he will be coming to Delhi as the regional representative for South Asia very shortly. And we look forward to renewed work in promoting the cause of liberalism and democracy in the whole subcontinent. I'm grateful that the Liberal Forum of Pakistan is represented, because although we are the only liberal party in South Asia, I know that a lot of work on liberalism is done, and my colleagues from India, who have done so much work, although not through a political party, will be here to talk about education. I'm also grateful we had a limited number of people, but we tried to extend our invitations as far as possible, and I'm really grateful to those members of our party and those non-members of our party, so I hope they will join us soon, have coming from as far afield as Jaffna, Trincomalee, Kalmune, Mathura, Monaragala, travelling overnight to be with us today and over the next couple of days. Because education is one of the most important factors in progress. I have a slightly platonic view of education. I think that sometimes many people make mistakes due to ignorance, due to a lack of awareness about the positive qualities of the values that we cherish so much. And I believe that if we move our education forward, make it dynamic, introduce choice and excellence, this country too will go far. We have very good education at the basic levels in Sri Lanka. We have reason to be very proud of this, but we can always do better. I know that is true of many of our countries. I hope that the experiences that we will be sharing here, the discussions we have, will allow all of us to move forward more positively for the future. So let me welcome you again, and thank you all for being here, and hope that we can all contribute to building a brighter future for Sri Lanka. Thank you.